Hi Year 3. Okay, now it's time for Chapter 11 of Fantastic Mr. Fox. And we know that he's been quite successful in Chapter 10, so he's now going to surprise Mrs. Fox, which will be a great surprise for her, hopefully. I will read over the chapter with you, and then we'll look at the Viper's questions, and then I'll share my answers. So as normal, you can pause the video clip or go back if you want to check them in order to answer your Viper's questions. Let's see what happens. So let's get started with Chapter 11, A Surprise for Mrs. Fox. The small fat fox ran back along the tunnel as fast as he could, carrying the 3 plump hens. He was exploding with joy. Just wait, he kept thinking. Just wait till Mummy sees these. So I'll just stop there because our first Viper question is an inference question. And it says, why was the fox exploding with joy? So you need to think about what you know from the previous chapter and write down your answer. He had a long way to run, but he never stopped once on the way, and he came bursting in upon Mrs. Fox. Mummy, he cried, out of breath. Look, Mummy, look! Wake up and see what I've brought you. Mrs. Fox, who was weaker than ever now from lack of food, opened one eye and looked at the hens. I'm dreaming, she murmured, and closed the eye again. There she is. You can see from that illustration how excited the little fox is, and you can see actually that Mrs. Fox only has one eye open. She does think she's dreaming. You're not dreaming, Mummy. They're real chickens. We're saved. We're not going to starve. Mrs. Fox opened both eyes and sat up quickly. But, my dear child, she cried, what on earth? Okay, so we'll just stop there, and I want you to look at the retrieval question. And the retrieval question is, why does Mrs. Fox think she's dreaming? Boggus's chicken house number 1, spluttered the small fox. We've tunnelled right up under the floor, and you've never seen so many big fat hens in all your life. So look at the next question now, the vocabulary question. What does spluttered mean, and can you act out spluttering? And Dad said to prepare a feast. They'll be back soon. The sight of food seemed to give new strength to Mrs. Fox. A feast it shall be, she said, standing up. Oh, what a fantastic fox your father is. Hurry up, child, and start plucking those chickens. Far away, down in the tunnel, the fantastic Mr. Fox was saying, Now for the next bit, my darlings. This one will be as easy as pie. All we have to do is dig another little tunnel from here to there. To where, Dad? Don't ask too many questions. Start digging. Okay, so we'll stop there because we're going to meet somebody in the next chapter. You can see who that might be from the title of the chapter. But I want you to look back over at the chapter if you need to and answer your Viper questions. And then I'll show you my answers and we can compare. So now we're on to the answers to the Viper's questions for Chapter 11 of Fantastic Mr. Fox. So the first question was an inference question. Why was the fox exploding with joy? So to answer this one, you'd have to use your knowledge of the previous chapter and of the story so far. So why do you think that little fox was exploding with joy? Let's have a look at the answer. He was exploding with joy because he knew that finding the chickens had saved them. Now, as we know from the chapter before, they were at a point where they hadn't eaten and they hadn't had any water. They hadn't had a drink for quite a few days, and Mrs. Fox especially was getting very weak. And I would think that the fox knew that if they didn't eat soon, then they would be very, very ill. Okay, the next question was a retrieval question. Why does Mrs. Fox think she's dreaming? So when her cub comes back with the chickens, why does she think she's dreaming? Let's have a look at the answer together. She thinks she is dreaming because she is so weak and has been wishing for food. So while she's been sleeping, she may have been dreaming or wishing for the food because she's been so hungry for the last few days, because those nasty farmers have stopped them from getting the chickens. Okay, the next question was a vocabulary question. What does spluttered mean, and can you act out spluttering? So that word comes from the text. What do you think spluttered means? Okay, let's have a look at the answers together. Spluttered means lots of coughing and being unable to catch your breath. Okay, so I wonder if you got that one. And the last one was a prediction question. So this is where you have to use your own thinking as an author to predict what you think will happen next and make a sensible guess. So predict where the foxes are going to dig next. Let's have a look at my prediction and then you can compare it with yours. I think the foxes might try to reach another one of the farmer's sheds. So now they've been successful once, my prediction is they'll try to be successful again and reach another one of the farmer's sheds. I might be wrong, you might have a much better prediction than me, and I'm sure you will have. Okay, so check over your answers. I hope you're all enjoying the story so far, and then we will move on to chapter 12 next. Bye!